don't know what's happening, but I've literally filmed this like 6 times. Usually I just film things once and then upload them and don't care, but I don't know what's wrong with me right now. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so this is my wrap up. It's probably going to be very brief. We'll see. I DNF'd The Golem and the Jinni by Helene Wecker. I did not like the writing style at all, and I thought the story was kind of boring. And it in the book we're following the Golem and we're following the Jinni. The Golem is a woman made out of clay who just wants to serve people and needs a master and whatever. The Jinni is an arrogant, hot-headed creature of fire who is a man and just wants to enjoy life and etc. etc. So stereotypes already, hate it. Also, like the stories between the two of them are so similar. They both like magically get rescued by someone. I do think it's really interesting culture-wise because it's like Arabic and Jewish cultures kind of. And so that part I thought was really interesting, especially because I feel like historically those two religions haven't always gotten along. So I think it's really interesting because I assume at some point they're going to become friends, and I assume at some point it's going to be beautiful, whatever. But I just like don't care enough to keep reading because I think the writing is pretty bad. And I wasn't into it, and then I picked it up, and there was this like love scene that just totally turned me off of the book, and I don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. And I'm really, really sorry, Jenny. Ooh, sorry. I have a review that I'll link below for Nicey by Sharon Bolton. This was a thriller following Lacey Flint, who's a detective. It takes place in the UK, in England, London, around London. I don't know. And it's someone's replicating the Jack the Ripper killings that happened, 120 years ago or whatever. And the killer is obsessed with our main character, Lacey. Surprise, surprise. And there's also a terrible There's a terrible romance involved in this book because our main character is a woman. And if there's a main character that's a woman, there has to be a male interest, right? Because that's just how it has to happen, because women can't exist without men. So the next thing that I finished was Zealots, The Life and Times of Jesus of Nazareth by Reza Aslan. This was a historical depiction of Jesus and like how he came to be Jesus Christ. The first part, I wish I could like describe to you, but I feel like the first part, it kind of gives like more historical context of like what's going on in that area at that time period. And then it talks about like Jesus and him being a human, and then it talks about kind of like how the Gospels kind of I don't know, how the Gospels like talked about Jesus. And there was like one character that I find super fascinating because he is a Roman, and then he converts to to Christianity, and he very, very fascinating character whose name I can't remember because I'm terrible, and I read this a while ago and I don't remember things, but I'm definitely curious to read more about this time period and about what happened between the Jews and the Romans at the turn of the century. At that time period, the specific singular time period that exists. The next, I think I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. The next thing that I finished was Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Absolutely incredible story. I don't know why. I gave it, I don't know. It was so good. This goes back and forth, present day and past day, when Libby Day's family gets murdered. Her brother's accused and convicted and sent to prison for killing her mom and her 2 sisters. And then the rest of, yeah, that makes sense, right? So the past day, the past tense is like the day of the killings, and then the present day is Libby like, oh, maybe my brother isn't the one who killed them, and her like kind of trying to figure things out, mostly because she's a terrible person and she needs money and people are paying her to talk to her brother, etc. So yeah, everyone is a big old Beckett. Everyone in this book sucks. Everyone is terrible. It's so much fun to read. And then the last thing that I finished was Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. I thought this was absolutely adorable. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. You just kind of have to like look past the some of the terrible things because of the time period in which this was written. Sorry, guys. But it is a beautiful, like, lovely, fantastical, magical. It's so lovely. Um, and it's kind of meta because, like, in the book, the narrator talks to you at certain points. So there's like an omniscient narrator who is like telling you the story that's happening because Peter, comes and finds Wendy and John and Michael and takes them to Neverland. And so the narrator is like talking to you as the reader, though, which I think is really fun. Like, this would be a fun book to read out loud to someone, which I assume is how it was meant to be, since I was told that J.M. Barrie was writing this for sick kids. So I think that's really sweet. And I ran into my friend Jake and his girlfriend Chelsea, and Chelsea was talking about how there's a theory that in the book, like, all the kids are dead, like being in Neverland is being dead, and that Peter is, this angel that takes you off, which I think is a really, really, really interesting theory. I'm going to see, I know that Jen Campbell was reading this last month, so I'm going to see if she has a review of it. I'm super behind on videos, which I say in every single video that I post. I'm like kind of getting sick of BookTube, guys. So, gosh, okay. But yeah, so I'm curious if she mentions that or if she talks about that in the review that I assume that she has done, but I don't know for certain. I'll have to search for it. And yeah. Oh, this is also really, really dark. There's a point where Tinkerbell is like trying to convince the kids, the lost boys, to shoot Wendy. So yeah, and it's like kind of, I feel like it's so bizarre. It's really, really good though. Very smart, intelligent book. Yeah, I'm not going to rewatch this, so if something in here is not good, I'm sorry, but I can't deal with this video anymore. It needs to exist on the internet, and I need to have nothing else to do with it anymore. See you later.